supervisor cat. We need you. Hey, I need help, like picking the winner for the sunflower painting raffle.
I don't want to do anything with it.
What, Marley? I'm confusing you?
I don't want to do anything with it.
What? Come on, you're supervisor cat. You're supposed to, this is your job, to supervise this thing. What, you want that lady to do it? You delegate. Okay, go on.
Okay, let's check it now. Hugo, check it now.
Oh, yeah, stop it. Okay, Wanda, let's confirm the number of chances. John has 10.
John has 10 entries.
Okay, Robin has 10.
Robin had 10.
Pam has 10.
Pam have 10.
Hold on, let me film it. Okay,
Okay.
Cindy has 20.
80, 10. Cindy got 20, yes.
Lucy has 2.
Lucy got 2.
Yeah, Linda has 4.
Linda got 4.
Jennifer has 5.
Jennifer
I'm reading my
5.
list. Kim has 20, I think.
Kim had 20, yes.
Okay, Sharon has 6. No, 10. Sharon has 10.
Sharon has 10.
Christina has 10.
10.
And
Nancy.
Becky, oh no, Nancy's
Nancy.
next. Nancy has 2. Becky has 2. And Joanne has 6. Let me go back over them. Just to make sure I got them all. And then what you can do is just gather them all up and put them in the container. I love that basket I got at some thrift store. It's just so cute. I think I got it at a thrift store, maybe from my son.
Everybody.
Okay, got them all. Shake them up really good. I'm so nervous. I want everyone to win. Okay. Oh, you're gonna pick a winner.
Pick one.
Yes. Who is it?
10, 15.
Kim. Kim won the painting. Okay. Pick a runner-up. What did you do? Are you trying to find one that doesn't say Kim? Pam is the runner-up. Okay. Thank you, Wanda.
All right. We've got 100 pens in here.
Oh, dear. Okay. Thank you.
So are you satisfied with this one, or you want to redo it?
No, this is it. We got a winner and a runner-up, and I'll show you these videos later with what I do with them. Talk to you later. I don't like that. I don't like that either. I'm trying to think how to do wings on these bee bodies. Hi, it's 10:30 at night and I'm sitting out in my studio feeling like I want to talk a little bit about the raffle and about the collage art that I created subsequent to the raffle drawing this afternoon and this evening. Sorry, my throat's a little creaky and dry. I went in to get some Gatorade because I thought I need to restart this video. So, making a video at 10:30 at night is really not the first way I think to spend an evening, but I'm liking this right now, and it just seems to be what my situation requires of me at this point. And so, first of all, thank you to all of my friends that participated in the raffle drawing for my original 32 by 40 inch acrylic on canvas painting of sunflowers with the hummingbird and bees. And, the friends that have been following this a little bit on Facebook, for some of you for quite a while, at least a couple of years and more, probably would agree that I went through a remarkable string of bad luck or one thing after another happening with vehicles in the past year, but especially with this new Honda Odyssey, the 2007 new to me Honda Odyssey that lost its alternator in the middle of heavy traffic on what I know now is the inner loop of 495 near DC, near exit 41, right? And the subsequent all-night ordeal and significant amount of towing cost. And then being 3 weeks without the van repaired, and come to find out they put one alternator in. It was charging fine. They took it on a test drive and it died. And they literally had to get another alternator. It was a new part. She said it must have just been a bad part. So I'm just trying to smile and laugh at all this. And, first of all, I just want to, I don't like to do religious talk that sounds cliche, but I do want to thank Jesus for standing by by me in this, and my friends too. There's a Beatles song that kept coming to my mind as I was thinking about this raffle and some other things in the artwork. I get by with a little help from my friends. I'm sure many people know that song. But I'm always amazed how out of difficult situations, at least in my world, God brings new creative ideas and possibilities and thinking and rethinking through many things. One thing that's been in my mind increasingly is since I'm no spring chicken, it is really hard to restart again at 59 years old here. And I've been feeling like at this point in my art career of over 30 years, I should be at the point where I'm creating more of my own stuff that sits alongside commissioned work. My kids, when they were teenagers and knew everything, right? They used to say things to me like, you, as an artist, you're just selling yourself short or whatever, that they differentiated somewhat that, when you do work for pay, like for hire, that somehow cheapens it, right? Like the real artists like Van Gogh and all, they just create, right? You know, poor Van Gogh. I think he sold one or two paintings in his lifetime. I think it's a myth that I think I read that he actually did sell a couple paintings. I think through his brother Theo in the art gallery that he managed in somewhere in France. So it's a little bit of a myth that he never sold any painting. But, you know, my kids were right to some degree. You know, illustrators and people that do primarily commissioned work for money, you know, there's a different quality to it than, you know, I've had the hardest time always like selling my original works. I mean, years ago, I used to do a lot of watercolor florals and beautiful pieces, but I just never had the knack for selling these originals. Now I've sold prints of them. I usually clearance their originals because I'm desperate to get cash flow, right? And I sell cards. I'm doing a lot of Etsy work in recent years. It's sort of my partly retirement plan, you know, to sell products, you know, based on the body of my lifelong work, you know. So here's the thing. Back in 2019, when I was in the middle of my divorce, and initially I thought maybe the only thing that was possible for me is staying in Alabama. My first hope had been that maybe I could just keep the home with to have my studio in it and everything. I had moved from Delaware. I had a big studio in my home in Delaware before I went to Alabama. Anyway, it kind of evolved differently, and then very complicated situation and everything. And so, as my friends know, I came back north, and I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did. I mean, initially I thought, well, maybe the best I can do is hope to do that and stay there and stay in Alabama maybe 10 years, build up my business, and then retire in Pennsylvania, or well, not in Pennsylvania, but back north, you know. And my older son had said to me at one point, well, you know, if you ever come back north, you know, real estate near Gettysburg is more reasonable. And at that point, he was pretty settled in Pennsylvania, but not in a permanent location. So my thinking had been, you know, why stay in a state where I have no family, but I had many friends that I had become very close with. Helen, my neighbor in Alabama, I still talk to her nightly pretty much. And all these people, it was just so very difficult for me. But I thought, you know, I never fully rebounded in my business when I, you know, went to Alabama, and we moved like 2 times while I was there. And it's, for me, it's just, you know, each time I move, it kind of sets my business back about, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, in the terms of local networking and stability of workspace and everything. And I realized, you know, 10 years staying in Alabama till I'm like almost 70, I thought, and then trying to retire, like, why? I could get sick, anything could happen, right? And so thank God he provided for me in the situation to get back north. But as many of my friends have witnessed, that this has been hard on me, an ordeal, and I don't know where this is going, you know. But my point is, when I was in Alabama during the divorce situation, as I was thinking through things, I began a Patreon page, but I never completed it. My friend Erin had videoed me one day. It was so fun. We put this, like I wanted, like, Patreon wanted like a promotional video. So I thought she could film me in my studio talking about my career, my business, and things like that. So we tried it one day, and I was so nervous. It was a blooper. It was a bomb. It was terrible. And I'm like, oh no, we can't do that. So we were laughing and talking about, well, how could we do this? And somehow we had the idea together of like Mr. Rogers, you know. Mr. Rogers takes people through make-believe land, right? And asks them questions. Tell me about this. Tell me about that, right? And I was so nervous. I've gotten a little bit better, like, speaking in a camera. So now I have my prop, my Gatorade. I don't even need it. But that day when we filmed A Day with Eileen, we had it sort of planned, and Erin did a fantastic job. You never see her, you just hear her voice. So we decided I'll be sitting on the porch holding Marley. He's a kitten, right? And I had a teacup with me, right? Because like it was a bit of a comfort that if I hold this teacup, and talk, it'll be natural, right? So she comes up on the porch and like, hey, I visited my friend. And I say, come on in, Erin. Right? And it's this video. I don't know, maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half. It's a little long, but she asked me all types of questions about how I started my business and all different things. And I take her through my studio and take her through the gardens and everything I was doing at that point in Alabama, because when I made that, it was with the possibility even that I would need some type of reasoning in the divorce process should it have gone before a judge. Public records show paperwork that was filed and all that, and it was settled, in mediation, thankfully, in a good way, and I think for both of us, and so I I didn't know what I was going to do with that video, right? I was either going to put it, well, I don't know, but it was part of Patreon. I thought, well, maybe that's a way I can survive, until I can do whatever I have to do to not lose my career too, on top of the tremendous loss that divorce is. Divorce is the end of a marital covenant, right? And now there's been two endings of two marital covenants in my life, and I'll say both of them I ended, right? So I don't want to get on too many topics, but because it's a lot, right? To think and process and understand. Divorce is a death, and that, my friends know that there's been a lot of things I continue to deal with in my family situation, my personal life. And I tell you, it's been going on like, what, 2018, I was building up my produce stand in Alabama, trying to pull forward with things, that in the marriage, right? That was my hope. And it's been endless work. It just feels like a Jenga tower that just keeps not getting knocked down. And I'm tired, like then 2019 and the divorce and the U-Hauls and the moving and the going to Delaware in a small little apartment. I thought I'd be there 2 months, and then there's a pandemic, and then like we're locked down, and I've got 4 cats with me and boxes and half my business stuff in storage, and trouble with the mortgage process because everyone's refinancing because of the pandemic and low rates and all kinds of just messes, with FHA and getting inspection reports back in time to, it just goes on and on. I'm exhausted, honestly. Like I just keep going. It's a kind of exhaustion that a good night's sleep doesn't fully cure. It's a kind of like mental, spiritual perseverance that's required that is exhausting. It's not about, some nights I wish I got more than 6 or 7 hours of sleep, right? And I catch up, and I'm an artist. I've always operated like that, with riding the creative waves of, projects and energy and all kinds of stuff. So here I am now. Patreon is is a platform that many artists and writers and creators use. And actually, I like to storytell. And when I was homeschooling my kids, we watched a series on the life of Leonardo. And it was interesting because how I remember this, he was like, we would not have the Last Supper or many of his works if it weren't for the patrons of that day, which were the Catholic Church, right? How much more money can you get to fund art than, the Roman Catholic Church? So, I remember the part in this where I think it was the Last Supper fresco. It could have been another piece. But Leonardo, he was, I forget what they call them. Like someone who's like multi-talented. There's a name for that. A polymath. I think that's the name for it. He was brilliant in science, math, many things, and art. But I guess he was going through something where he was kind of working out this thing in the painting. I got paint on, in his own mind. So I remember in this like dramatized telling of his life story that we watched when I was homeschooling my kids. That the people in the Catholic Church, they were just frustrated and puzzled with him because he'd show up once or twice a week, and maybe some afternoon he'd just randomly walk in, and he'd walk over to the painting and he'd kind of look at it. He'd pick up a brush, he might make a few strokes, and then just walk away, And they're like, where is he? Like, we're paying him all this money. Like, what's going on here? And he was apparently, as I recall, I don't know, he was doing all this other stuff. He was going to markets, and he was like, just whatever he was doing. And I thought that was funny because as an artist, I relate to that to some degree. Because I can be working on something in the back of my mind, and I need to be just in the right zone to actually do certain types of work. It's not like doing dishes that you're pretty much guaranteed you're not going to mess it up. I mean, I guess some people could mess up doing their dishes, but sorry if you're one of those people. But generally, you run some hot water. It's fairly foolproof. You might break a glass or whatever. But art it just requires a certain kind of focus. And of course, I'm trying to network in community, get exercise. Gardening has always been important to me, and increasingly so. It all works together in my mind. So my point is, I have decided I am going to continue working on my Patreon page, and I'll be sharing more how that works. As I understand it, friends, family, even strangers that believe in your work, your skills, your talent, want to help with specific projects, cash flow, or whatever, they can pledge maybe $1 a month or something, community, and many hands make light work, and the sense of community for an artist is really important. And so I'm thinking through that, but one thing I would like to do, this raffle idea to get my originals that I do, and I have, believe me, I have many creative ideas and projects that I want to pursue, including writing projects and things at this point. Books, little booklets, all kinds of stuff. I broke my thought flow. A lot of creativity, and I'm just the originals. So when I do original pieces, I can benefit from them in other ways, derivative works, pieces, advertising. You know, what would happen when I would take originals out to shows when I was 20 years younger and I had more energy and was willing to more risk the time, the cost, the process for very little return, possibility of damaging originals, glass, scratching frames, dusty mats, rain, anything. It's just not something I would, you know, I didn't get this studio and this property to take my work elsewhere. I got this to bring people here, right? So if I can start like trying to raffle originals and come up with a system to do it through Patreon and other means, and just as I have original pieces, let them sit until I reach what I would need to actually do a raffle. That's an interesting idea, but this is what I'm getting to with this raffle and the work that I've created here. So I've talked 20 minutes. Hold on, I'm going to switch. See if I can switch views here. I think I can. No. Oh, no, I can't on this. I'm using a different app to film this. I can't switch the view, but I can sort of turn this, you know, to this collage piece. So, in my mind, I have trouble with raffling something and friends being caring, generous, you know. I mean, I would hope that anyone that enters the raffle, they actually like the piece enough to consider doing that. But I get it. Like, some people just graciously wanted to help me and bless me, you know, and I thank you. I'm grateful for that. So I have a problem with only one person can win. It's just not the way my mind works. I want everyone to win, right? And I actually, in the process, I had an idea. What if I were to do raffles and there's a winner and then there's a runner-up that gets the derivative work, and I've created something fun, colorful, with the names that were entered into this drawing, and I started with a mounted print of the actual painting, right? So okay, I'm going to say here, the winners, so a number of the people that entered were high school friends. Not all of them, but there were friends from Alabama and friends from college, high school, previous churches, you know. So it was a fun collection of people. So Kim, a high school friend, won the painting. And so, you know, I've been wanting to go visit her. She's in Perryville. So I need to unpack this painting now. I think I'm going to have to drive it to her house rather than try to ship this. I would do that because we've been talking about getting together. The runner-up, Pam, also went to Christiana High School. She was, I think, a year behind us. But, you know, when I look at this, I think Pam has commissioned a pet portrait from me, and another high school friend that participated in this, John, has commissioned a pet portrait too. I've been in John's house, and John and Tim have an interesting art collection, right? And so part of me thinks, I know Pam's art tastes and stuff. Now, she may want this on her wall, you know? But wouldn't it be fun if the runner-up gets to decide, do they want to keep the derivative collage work from the raffle? From each raffle could have a different derivative collage piece done somehow. Or do they want to pick yet another person in the participants to gift it to or raffle it again? Like it's just ideas. Like, I love that God created a world where ideas flourish and exist. So there's that. And then what I can do is I can scan this and print just little 5x7 prints, and I have these little refrigerator magnet sleeves. I use them for recipes and stuff in my kitchen. And I'd say, I didn't count, maybe there were 10 participants total. with people bought different numbers of chances at $5 each. And I want to get the mailing address and send it to each of them. I had thought on this piece of putting the text. I get by with a little help from my friends, but as I worked on this, I decided no, it doesn't need that. What I've done here in the collage, I have, well, you can watch the filming, and I guess when I string these together, I'll probably put this thing at the end. After I mounted it and took glue, water, well, I mix like a varnish with glue and paint and stuff to do collage work. Now the collage work started, I've done collage years ago, and like I said, if I was an art major again, I'd probably ace a lot of those classes I had at 18, 19, 20 years old. I just didn't flourish as much as time has taught me. Oh, that's what they were talking about. Found objects and 3D and sculpture and like all these stuff. I learned from it, but like all of us in any subject, I was immature, in my creative abilities. And so now, yeah, gosh, I gobbed on some paint in this, like the thick. I didn't use sparing paint, like impasto techniques. I've worked with the colors in the painting and print. I know. When I was in Delaware, trapped in that little place for like, it turned into 6 months, right? I didn't see that coming. As people remember, and I still have unfinished works here that I started then, I was shredding up old prints. I was doing all kinds of interesting creative stuff. I have boxes of this. I was just sitting there watching. What were we watching? The Tiger King and all that, we lost track of day, night, in our pajamas. Everyone's drinking wine and beer and talking on the phone. We couldn't go anyplace. And, it was an interesting experience for me artistically, being trapped just by myself pretty much in this. I was living above a little business in Newark, and so they had to shut their shop down, so they were only in maybe twice a week, and I saw no humans, right, pretty much. I just went to the grocery store, and we all dealt with things differently. That's how I dealt with that part of the pandemic. But I was doing some major creative collage work, and I still have. Oh, I would still love to work with these little like shapes and stuff and do more collage work. Collage really excites me because it to me, I've always been fascinated with art that takes something broken or something that would be discarded otherwise, and repurposes and works it into something new. So keep that in mind. It's a little metaphoric, philosophical, spiritual, but that's kind of what I've done here. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that, and again, thank you for participating in the raffle. And if you're interested in following me on Patreon, please message me privately. I think the way it works is, so for example, I have a book project, a children's book I started illustrating 5 or 6 years ago. It was to be a gift for my son, Jonathan. It was called The Amazing Magical Musical Tree. And it's got some beautiful illustrations, but it's half done. I can't find the time to, with everything else, I want to. So for example, I believe the way Patreon works is you can put out a project that you have an idea to do. Lots of projects I have in mind. And someone might come along and read it and say, hey, I think that sounds like a great project. I'd throw a little bit of $20 toward that or whatever. And it kind of works like that. Then you have your regular supporters. I think you can just read things, follow what I'm doing creatively. I'm finding social media, it's kind of like, it's a connection for me, but it's not the best always. My blog and other things for my writing, my deeper writings, and Patreon for creative things is probably another online community. So some of you may be familiar with Patreon, but I believe the way it would work is if you subscribe, you would get an email, like if I post. It's kind of like maybe almost like LinkedIn, but it's more like for artists, creators. And I believe you can offer incentives too, like products or, I mean, I know some of my, I have a mailing list, like, I guess close to 1,500 people. I have not sent newsletters out regularly in the last couple of years. I just can't get to it. You know, with trying to rebuild websites and all the physical work here, everything. It's just, it's just a lot. But I would invite those to follow. Now, there were some of people on my mailing list that are regular customers over the last 10, 20, 30 years, especially with my calligraphy wedding products, the 1/4 strands and different ones. And one idea is to structure it so if someone knows they usually get 1 or 2 of them per year, maybe there would be an incentive to have a monthly support, and then every 6 months you get to claim your, you know. So I really want to make it a win-win situation for people. I really need to read more how it works and how to give incentives to supporters. It's not like you just want, you know, people to support your art without benefiting from reading your writings or whatever it is they get from your art, seeing it. I mean, a lot of people honestly love art, but they don't always have the wall space for it. I was going to say, I lost that train of thought. When I would go to shows with original paintings and stuff before, like 20 years ago, that were beautiful florals, I would watch these women and other people come by. They would look at them and they'd talk to me. It'd be, that is beautiful. That painting of that wisteria. Oh my goodness. And you know what then they'd say, and I'd be thinking, oh, they're going to buy it. They're going to buy it. They're going to $500-$600. You know, I can go, you know, pay another bill or feed my kids or whatever I was doing, you know, needing at that time. What they would do is look at it and say, that is beautiful. That's amazing. Hey, can I commission you to paint some daffodils? Like, my mother's favorite flower is daffodil. That actually happened to me at a show one time, and this woman, Kim, became a friend. I think I've kind of lost touch with her, but she commissioned me to do daffodils, and it's one of my favorite paintings. I reproduced it and have it in my own house. But you know, I had every other flower there, and she saw what I could do. She wanted daffodils. So then I've sold many of the daffodil prints, and she did eventually come and purchase the large pink hydrangea that I had it in a show. I had a bunch of stuff I paid to frame and everything at I think it was Vala Vineyard, you know, 2007. I thought, yeah, I'll put my stuff in an art show. And no, I didn't really sell anything. Someone came later, made me an offer on my sunflower painting of less, and I needed the money, and I sold it, right? Somewhere I probably have the name of whoever bought it. And I was happy to do that. I mean, I got less than I had hoped and put into it, but it's overwhelming to me. Anyone who tries to make a career at art struggles, right? I mean, unless somehow you connect in with really, really wealthy clients, or you get, like, in your lifetime, like, the right connections. I think for the average artist, it is a hard road. And I did develop my business from the kitchen table of a mobile home. When my oldest son was a baby, I started doing calligraphy, wedding invitations. You know, what can I do creatively from home that would sell, right? And a lot of my business was built around the wedding market. Everyone gets married. Everyone needs well, not everyone gets married, but people always, it's a big industry, right? But at 59, I want to do that, but I want to do more. I want to keep doing commissioned work. I want to be able to turn away some commissioned projects that I think, wow, I don't want to work from that reference photo. I don't think I can do a good job on this. This is going to be a difficult thing. I think I would rather take that piece. I would rather produce my own stuff, is what I'm saying. This is a lot, and thank you if you listened so far. Yeah, stay tuned. I'm thinking all different possibilities to keep moving forward, to rebuild my career and hopefully my life, in some way that remains unclear to me in terms of, I'll tell you, I've been severely personally impacted. I don't know that I'll never go back to what I left before in Delaware. It's gone, right? My kids are grown. Things have changed. I'm older. This is the first time I've ever totally lived on my own, as an adult. I got married at age 22, and I lived in dorms before that, and apartments. Right, this is a big change. When I moved to Alabama, I immediately had empty nest, right? But I didn't realize how it would be. But I left. I disbanded the nest because it seemed like at the time, for everyone involved, it seemed like it was going to be a good and positive thing. Things kind of went different directions. And I regret, in some ways, that choice, but that was my choice. And I'm living with where things are at now. So I'm just trying to move forward. Retirement, I will never retire from something I love. I always told myself that, as I built my business, raised my kids, homeschooled them, was a wife, a mother, church participant, all that. I thought, imperfect as I was, all of us make missteps. I always pondered, some people would say, that they'd work and work and work and sacrifice, and they'd have lots of art ability or music or whatever their gifting was, and they thought, one day I'm going to retire, and then I'm going to do all this art, and I'm going to take up painting classes. And I would hear every once in a while, sadly, of people that work and work and work, and that they retire, and they get sick a year later, or they have a heart attack, or something goes differently, right? And they never get to live their dream. And so I'm grateful to God. I'm fortunate. I don't want to get emotional. I'm fortunate that God allowed me to use my gifts and live my dream to the degree I can all along the way. And I always told myself, why would I ever retire from something I love? I want to be painting till the day I die, right? I want to be doing this and earning money at it. But the reality is, I need to start thinking about new plans, business plans, right? Retirement plans, right? Not true retirement, but modification of how and what I do, right? To keep paying my bills. So this has been, my hair is, sorry, it's late. And yeah, I'm talking into a camera here. It's probably 11:15 now. If you've listened, thank you. You're a trooper. I'm going to use this first raffle in this video on Patreon, I suppose. I'm just trying to string this together. I keep learning new things. Technology, it's a needed evil, I suppose. But yeah, I have ways to make videos, slideshows, put stuff on YouTube, all that. Anyway, thanks for listening. Good night.